Hey, hey, hey. You know what time it is.
It's time for the Heart to Heart Journey to Unconditional Love podcast.
Yes, I am your host, Elaine Bloomer. That is my co-host, Harlan Brown. And Harlan Brown, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing, loving the series that we're on. But
Yeah.
I wanted to do something different to this podcast.
Okay.
We going back to our villages, so the men's village got questions. They
Okay.
got some concerns. They got some concerns out
Let's
there.
see.
So,
Let's see if I can get a good answer.
okay. Well, one of the concerns is, and this is crazy because this has been coming up a lot. A lot of men been hearing, again, unfortunately, there's a lot of divorces out there. We hate to see that. It's one of the reasons why we have the podcast to give people some alternative way to think twice before making a permanent decision for a temporary situation if the relationship and the marriage can be resolved. So we bring that to the masses, but I want to address the elephant in the room, man. I know men are perturbed by the phrase when they're going through divorces that women say we're gonna take him to the cleaners. And we just want to know, like, why does it have to be that way? Why can't it just be an amicable divorce and a fair situation for everybody instead of wanting to take everything that the man has? So come on, address that for us. We got to get your take on this, and your village take on this, because this
This
is
is
this is
a
pressing for us.
this is a slippery slope. I'm gonna say that.
Okay,
And I
okay,
say that because I don't want to. I'm speaking for some of the women's village, not all of them, like some of them, because some of them still
okay,
want to be
okay.
angry. So I'm speaking to the ones who don't want to be angry. And I'm going to talk about both. Okay. So the question, why do women want to use that, take them to the cleaners, take everything they have, just destroy them? Usually in that case is the anger, right? And first of all, it's pain. It's just pain. It's just the hurt of this not being my forever, this not being my happily ever after. None of the things that I thought it was going to be, that fairy tale that we had together, it's gone. No matter who broke it, it's no longer there. So that's the first thing. Now, if the man has stepped out, there's a lot of trust issues and there's a lot of issues that go along with that. And the woman is very angry because she feels like she's been sideswiped. She never seen that coming. She put everything in that relationship and it's no longer there. So yeah, there's going to be the revenge anger, right? So that's the revenge anger. I call it the revenge anger. So you want to get with your team of revenge folks, and they all gonna get together and be like, "Girl, you gotta take him because he should have did you like that after you done spent all this time with him and all this other stuff." We see it on all kind of movies. Like Waiting to Exhale is my favorite one, where she just flicked the cigarette back, blew the man car up because he left her for another woman. So at the end of
So let's do this. Let's remove that,
okay,
because I think it's more of not if there's infidelity. Let's take
okay, let's
infidelity
say
off of this. But that is good. That's a good start and a segue to this podcast, because I just want to get an understanding. I want to make sure that we give information to the masses, so that in the audience, so that they know exactly some of the things that they can do when this happens. So let's just say it's just irreconcilable differences. It's there's lack of communication. It's the other partner has changed. Let's keep it on that, because I think when you talk about infidelity, that's an outlier. Then I still don't agree with taking a man to the cleaners, and not because I'm a man. I still don't agree with it. I just think, and I'll give you my opinions about that. But let's just keep it on something where
Okay.
it's nobody's fault. They just can't. Well, they just can't get on the same page. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
And even in those situations, I really do still feel that it is um it's a loss. You're mourning, you're grieving a loss. You've created something with
Right.
somebody that you were in love with. You went as far as getting married and locking this and sealing this in forever, and that forever is no longer there. So there is an anger, there is a frustration, there is um and it all comes from hurt. Like that hurt just turns into so many different things. And when we let it fester and we get bitter about it. So for me, I know I'm not I'm not a vindictive person.
Huh?
So I don't see I'm really not a vindictive person. So I don't
Yeah.
see taking somebody to the cleaners is going to be my answer. Like
But
somebody
you're
else's
feisty. You're
downfall is
feisty.
not gonna
You're
be my
New Yorker. You're New Yorker. You're feisty. So I
I'm
don't. I
feisty.
listen. I never had to deal with giraffe or anything,
I'm feisty,
I'm
but
just
I'm
saying,
not
women
vindictive.
from New York are feisty, and they can get their revenge.
Trust me, I am feisty. I know I can be really feisty. And I'm more so feisty with the mouth than saying anything else, right?
Okay.
I would be upset at the point and say something, but at the end of the day, I would never like sit down and calculate how I can take somebody down. Like that's
Yeah.
just not I don't have it.
But
So
okay,
I
you
don't
wouldn't do it, but kind of
but
get the
there are
audience.
women who do.
Our village want to know why this happens anyway, and why can't it be amicable separation, divorce? I mean, why can't it be where you sit down and I know it's kind of crazy because that's the reason why you get a divorce because you couldn't sit down and reconcile
Right.
and get that communication there. I know it, but at the same time, you don't have to take somebody, you don't have to take us to the cleaners. We don't want to go to we don't want to get taken to the cleaners.
Nobody wants to
Come
be
on,
taken to
help the men's village today. Come on, we need some
nobody
help.
wants to be taken to the cleaners. Women don't want to be taken to the cleaners either. The
Right.
thing is, we have to get past when we are I want to say this. And I know this probably is in a make believe in a perfect world because
Okay.
I was never in this situation. But I would like to say this. If there is a we sit down and we come to terms that this is not going to work out and we're not this is we're going to have to end this we're going to have to dissolve this marriage. I would hope that it would be at a point where it's not it's not in anger and it's not in malice to say like
But
it's
it
not
is. Hold on. I'm gonna have to put my hat to the back for
but
this one.
yeah, because I'm trying to figure out like if I'm in a relationship and if I'm in a marriage and my husband says, you know what, this is not working for me, I want a divorce. Of
Right.
course, there's a 1,000 questions like what happened, da, da, da. And I
But
get all
it can't be just what happened. You know something ain't going right, and he
right.
not
Yeah,
just
you
gonna come and
feel
say
it,
it. You know there's been an off
feel it.
balance, there's been a mix, there's something that is not right, there's something not working. You're not talking as much, you're not as affectionate as much, and at the same time, if and I know a lot of times it could be either way. I'm not if
Yeah,
the
it can be
man
both
comes and
ways.
say,
It's
yeah,
not a yeah.
yeah, it can be both ways. So what I want to find out is like, why do we have to go to the cleaners? Why do you have to take us to the cleaners as opposed to just coming with a solution and resolution that is going to be fair for both parties?
I just think
Period.
you got to get past the anger. You got to get past the hurt. You got to get past all of those things that you are holding on to. You got to release it, right? Because I think a
Okay.
lot of times there's no real release. Like we're
Yeah, but
married,
when you're in
that's
the
it.
moment, you're in the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. When
And
you marry,
you're not thinking about releasing anything. What you
no,
want to
that's what
release
I'm
is
saying. There's no
you want to release a can of whip ass out there. You know what I'm
But that's
saying?
what I'm saying. There's no release of the person because you're holding on to the person. But if we're not going to be happy, then you're going to be just as sad as I am.
Yeah.
I
All right,
think
well, I can
that
put my
is,
hat back to the. I
I
can put
think,
my hat
and,
back.
and I think also with, I think also with that, you have to come to some sense of what is best, right? Especially if there's children involved. Like, what is best? What's
Yeah,
best for the
yeah.
kids? What's best for
Well,
us? And those kind of things. But I think it's really hard a lot of times for one party to one. It's usually one person who is kind of like holding on a little bit more. And
yeah.
just, I don't want to see you happy if I didn't make you happy. I don't want to see nobody else make you happy. That's the kind of thing
Right.
that I see a lot of.
Well,
And
let's
so,
deal with this because normally when it says take you to the cleaners, it's it's that term half. I want half. Like you don't work a day and you don't work. I mean, if you again, if the other spouse has a job, that's fine. The other spouse doesn't have a job, they're not working those hours. They want half of the salary.
yeah.
What can you're basically asking the man to live off half of his salary
Yeah.
when you're moving on.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. That is a lot. Now I'm gonna say this. If the woman has if the person, I'm not even gonna use woman, I'm gonna use the person. If
Okay.
these two people work together to build something together, then
Yeah.
yes, I think that is only fair, right? Because they
Hold on.
both
What? Hold on.
work.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are you building together if the man has a career? What are
No,
you
I'm not
building
saying
with
the
him if
man's
he has a
career.
career?
I'm
Now you
just
talk
saying,
about a business or something.
yeah, I'm talking
Let's
about a
take let's
business.
no let's take that out. Let's take that out.
Okay, no
What are you talking
business.
about?
No
Two
business. This
married
man
people.
has a career. He making millions of dollars, and he married me, and now we're getting a divorce, and I want half. That's what you said. And I
No,
don't
no,
work.
I'm not even talking about that because again, that's those other people. That's beyond my my pay grade and all that. I'm just talking about regular men who get taken to the cleaners, um, and they just have regular jobs. They're not stars. They're just regular men who got into a marriage and it didn't work, and a divorce is coming, but the women wants to take them to the cleaners. Like I just don't see the fairness in that. And again, you got to help with the laws too. Some of the laws in different states are crazy.
Yes.
Like because if it was like just to turn it real quick, and I'm gonna get back on track. But this is part of this.
Hmm.
If let's just say the woman was the breadwinner and made more money, in some states that breadwinner owes the man spousal support,
Absolutely.
which again, I'm not gonna call it any kind of school, but I'm from the school of why would any man take anything from a woman, especially spousal support? That to me is the craziest, dumbest thing that I've ever come across that they allow. But I get it, and I'm not mad, but I just wouldn't do it because I just feel that there's a responsibility that a man has. Get up off your behind and stop leeching off someone and go out there and get your job and get your career and move on, instead of taking money from a woman just because she made more money than you.
I think that's a big thing right now that people really need to understand that men are getting half of women's money just as much as men are getting, vice versa.
Yeah.
So I think that
I'm just letting you know I don't agree with that. So, but let's hone it
agree with
back in. Let's
I
hone
don't
it back
really
in.
agree with any of it because I think that if I was married and I'm getting a divorce, at some point I did love this person. I don't walk down the aisle with this person. We have families.
Yes,
We have
yes,
combined families, and we have done all of these things.
yes.
So it cannot be to a point where I want to, and that's why I said, me personally, I can't see where I would want to destroy this person, right?
Yeah, but you
Don't get
want
me
to take them
wrong.
to
Now
the
I've been in
cleaners.
relationships that have been hurt,
You got to destroy, but you want to take them to the cleaners.
but that's part of destroying him, right? Because I want to take everything that you have. I want you
Yeah.
to live as a pauper while I live the life of
But
luxury.
just tell me why women have to have that and why they can't just have a fair divorce where they settle things where it's just fair for both parties and both people can eat.
Pain, hurt, those things drive people to do the things that they do. Most people, when they coming for you, it's out of anger, which is nothing but it hurt that you don't let it bitter and you don't let it fester,
Yeah.
and you've allowed everybody to help you because now you got the revenge crew, right? So everybody helping you, like, yep, you right, you right, you right.
Yeah.
So all you doing is getting a confirmation on, hey, this is exactly what this is how we hit them. How do we do it? How do we do it? And it's always trying to hit somebody. It's always trying to hit the other person in the pocket. And men and women, you try to hit them in the pocket because you know that's their source. That's their livelihood.
But
But
who wins in that situation?
nobody wins in that situation
Who
because
wins?
both
And I'll say
people
this.
end up being bitter.
Yeah, but I say this. There's you already lost it and both because a divorce occurred. I'll
Right.
say that. Some women will be like, hey, I dodged the bullet. And some men will be like, I dodged the bullet. So I didn't lose, I gained by
Right.
getting rid of that excess baggage. But and I know we're making a joke of it, but I just don't understand how you can't just you don't have to sit down with each other. Just put yourself in a situation where what are you gaining from taking everything from somebody else? What are you really gaining when you both can sit there and be fair, have a fair settlement, and then move on with yourselves? You don't have to talk to that person ever again if you don't want to,
You
but you
really
just
don't
have
have
to
to
have
talk
a fair.
to
You
them
just
in
have to have a
liberation.
fair settlement. Don't take anybody to the cleaners. But since it's the questions from the men's village, we're asking you, like, why are you taking us to the cleaners? So it's a good segment to this. I say this is the answer. And you know what I'm coming with the scripture.
Let's go with the
So the
scripture.
scripture is Ephesians 4:31. Can you read that for the audience there, all around?
Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling, and slander, along with every form of malice.
And then here's uh, verse 32.
Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you.
Yeah, let's take that. Let's take that. Why can't we do that? And when you look at the scripture, they go right into it. Get rid of all, not some. Get rid of
All
all the bitterness, rage, and
and
anger, brawling, and slander, and along with every form of malice.
right.
So
Stop.
no matter
Stop.
how bad it was, get rid of it. And and then what? This is what you should do. Although it may hurt you to your core because you hate that person to a core, which we shouldn't, but be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as in Christ God forgave you. So yeah, we both did things to each other. This is not a situation, again, we're going to talk about another situation of infidelity and all that another time, but this is just you couldn't get back on the same page. You couldn't figure it out. You having communication issues. Again, the other one, the people change. This is not who I married. That person changed, whatever. But I'm gonna give you a nugget, and this is not. It has anything to do with anything, but because we having a heart to heart in a relationship, people changing is inevitable, and you have to meet them where they are.
And
So
you
if you
grow
thought
with
this person was going to be the same person you got married at 25 and at 35 or 45, he's going to be the same person. No, and vice versa. So learn how to meet people where they are, and you don't have to change yourself, but you have to accept the change in somebody else because they don't want to do anything anymore. The first thing I say is, yeah, y'all met in the club and y'all like to go to the club, but at some point, one of y'all gonna be like, I ain't really trying to go to the club no more.
right.
And you change, like, that ain't for me, that ain't my scene. And another person wants you to go to the club with them. You like, that ain't me. You go ahead and do you, and I'm not gonna do that no more. That starts the dissension. But again, that if the other person doesn't understand why that person changed, then you're going to have issues, and it's going to lead now into divorce possibly, and it's taking us to the cleaners if it's on the male side. I just don't like that word, and I think I'm really passionate about that because it doesn't have to be that way.
It really doesn't. It really
Again,
doesn't. It really doesn't.
at some
Because the
point you got to get
bitterness
rid of
and
that
rage,
bitterness, that rage, that anger, that brawling, that slander, and any form of malice. And then you're going to have, you don't have to, but your life would be so much better.
you
And
should.
another verse we could have had on here is vengeance is not mine, it's not yours, it's God's. It's not
Exactly.
It's not for you to take it upon yourself to make that man an example. And again, I'm keeping it on us, just audience. I'm keeping it on us because the question came from the men's village. We just want to know why women use that phrase, take them to the cleaners, and they follow up on it. And they want to take everything from it when you both can eat, you both can have a fair divorce where everybody wins, as opposed to just one person getting everything and you're taking the guy to the cleaners. We don't want to be taken to the cleaners anymore. So please,
I don't think anybody should be
women.
taken to the cleaners ever. I think you can have some compassion. I know that in those situations, and I never had a divorce, but I'm gonna say this: I know in those situations where I was heated when things went awry, because, like I said, you just blew up my happily ever after. I'm gonna need to I'm mad right now. I don't really want to hear all of the craziness. I'm just mad. But it wasn't for me to go to try to destroy the person. It was really me trying to figure out. And I guess for every finger that I point out, I point like all of mine back to me. I feel like it was for me to sit down and be like, okay, seriously, like we knew that things was getting a little awry. We knew that things was off. I
Yeah.
knew that, I had a suspicion, I had a feeling, my feelings and my gut was right. And it turned out to be right.
But thank you for acknowledging that part, because a lot of people don't even want to acknowledge that something was wrong in the marriage. They'd be like, oh, that's the status quo, and yeah, we'll get through it. But you didn't address the issue, and you let it go on so long. It's at a point of no return.
Right. And I think that's something that I've learned in relationships too. Like in that situation, it was a period of time where things just kind of went awry. Like I did me, you did you, we'll meet back. We still good. Everything is good, but I'm gonna still do me, and I'm gonna do the things that I want to do, and you do the things that you want to do. But then it turned into two single people just being single, but meeting up. Like, so there was no
Yeah.
real anything
Yeah.
involved in there, because
Yeah.
now we both live in single lives, when in all actuality,
Yeah.
when the communication
Yeah.
slows down, and when people are not talking, and when you're not doing the things that you do to build that intimacy together, then you lose it.
Yeah.
And trust me, when you lose it and you leave those doors open, there's always opportunities that will find that open door.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
I
well, I'm
think
gonna
that's
say this.
very
Take this
important.
back to your village to say this. Look, yeah, we could. If you think we're the worst person on earth, that's fine. But you chose me. You
Yeah,
chose to be with me. It
yeah,
just didn't work out. So don't throw a temper tantrum, or don't get that bitterness, rage, anger, bull and slander, malice, and ball it up in one, because it becomes one big mass, and throw it at me or throw it at us, because we all can win in this situation. I would just say this: if I could talk to your village, and this is what I would say: take a deep breath. First of all, don't just think about the negative thing. Think about the good parts when you got together first. And think about that person is still a human being. And then open your Bibles to Ephesians 4 and 31 and 32 and read it, and understand that, hey, you can have that anger in you. You can have that bitterness in you. You can have that rage. in you. You can, you want to put out some form of malice out there because you're hurt and the pain and you want to get rid of pain. But I'm going to say this, the pain by you taking another man to the cleaners, that's temporary solution. The pain, it's going to resonate with you when you realize that you didn't have to be so harsh or so bitter or have that rage towards another individual, and you could have settled the divorce where both parties win. It's always, and I'm gonna say the same thing to the men. You guys have to sit down. You have to take a deep breath, and you cannot react because someone is feeling rejected or feeling bitter or feeling hurt and pain. It was inflicted by both of you, not just yourself.
Right.
Not just him, not just her, not just your partner. And I'm putting the partners in there. It was inflicted by both of you. Right. Both of you had a part in it. And don't think you absolved from that. Well, I did everything right. Well, if you're saying that, then that's an issue already because you think you're above everything that happened, and you really wasn't in tune to yourself.
Right.
Because you wouldn't be at that point if there wasn't something wrong.
Right.
Now, I'm going to say sometimes it just gets to a point where another partner is just going to say, hey, I don't want it no more. And you might not have done anything wrong, but at the point they grew and you didn't grow with them or something, and I'm not blaming you. And again, this is not a blame game because nobody wins in a blame game.
No.
Do you want to be right or do you want to do the right thing?
Right.
I'm trademarking that. Do you want to be right or do you want to do the right thing?
I think that is, I think in all of it, we all need to understand that leave people with their dignity. Like, why would you want to? Leave people with their dignity.
Nobody cares about that.
No, you can walk away from somebody and leave them with their dignity. You don't have to you don't have to go in for the jugular and destroy people. Just go ahead and leave them with their dignity.
But say this. That is still if y'all had children, that is still the husband.
Yes.
That is still the father of your children. And this is how you want to portray them?
It's still the father of your children. And let's be honest, like, there's still family ties involved. There's still other things that's going on. So trying to take somebody to the cleaners and wipe them out is not really a good look for you. And secondly, I want to say, if you would just give up all of that rage and anger, be kind, compassionate to one another, and forgiving, how about this will open you up so you won't be walking around here bitter for the next 15 years, mad at the fact that you got divorced, and you would be able to find somebody and you could live your happily ever after. It doesn't take, when you have all of that inside of you and you hold on to it and you keep it, you block yourself from all your blessings going forward. Stop it. I just don't think it makes sense. And that's just how I live my life. I don't find being vindictive and trying to take somebody down part of me moving in a positive direction or blocking things that could be coming my way. Like, I don't want to ever do that.
Yeah. And again, be forgiven.
Yeah.
Just as Christ has forgiven you. You're not perfect.
No.
You've done some things. You don't have to take someone to the cleaners in order to validate or get back at somebody because you feel they didn't do what you wanted them to do. And that's what it really is about sometimes. They're not going to do what you want them to do. So now you want to get back at them and just say, hey, I'm going to take you to the cleaners. Now, there is a law. I am going to say there's a law in states. But I'm going to say this, even in the law in the states, if it doesn't look like it's fair, you don't have to go by what the law states in that area. If you two talk about it and make it a fair divorce, it can be fair where both parties win. So don't be like, well, the law says I can have this and I'm taking all of it. If it's not conducive to the other person living well, just like you can live well, and it's and again, it's a fair settlement, then hey, then you don't have to follow that because you set the terms. And I'm gonna say this: you two set the terms of the divorce.
Absolutely.
And nobody says you couldn't negotiate, but when you're negotiating, don't get over on somebody. And I'm not even gonna say try. Don't get over on somebody because what you're gonna get when you get over on somebody is temporary. It's going to be gone so quickly, you're not even going to remember what you got. And then you're not going to be satisfied with what you got because you're going to be still bitter and angry. You're going to see that other person move on. Although you took him to the cleaners, he's moving on and whatever. And you're still going to be stuck in the same spot that you were in. So
and then that anger and bitterness because you refuse to
yes. So be careful what you tell your girls. Don't co-sign on it. Send them to Ephesians 4:31 and 32. Send them there. That's the best advice that you could give somebody, a friend of who's going through a divorce. Hey, give it to God. Cast your burdens on God and leave them there, and He'll take care of all of your needs. And at the same time, get rid of all that bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, slander, any form of malice. And be kind and compassionate to your the spouse that you're divorcing. Forgive them and forgive yourself, just as God has forgiven you. So that's my last word. I'm gonna give you the last word because we went way over on this in the middle of this. But I think this is a good topic, and we want to do some more about it because, because a lot of people just need to hear this. They may not want to hear it. But we're planting a seed, and that's what I wanted to do with this podcast. Yeah. I just wanted to plant a seed to say, hey, if you're feeling this way, I'm not telling you not to feel that way. Yes, you might be hurt. You might have that anger. He might have done this to you, or this or that, or you may feel it should have worked out and it didn't, and you're feeling that pain. But taking them to the clean answer. So I'm going to give you the last words there, Harlan Brown, and then we're going to get out of here because we went way over.
Okay, I'm just going to say real quickly, if you have a friend or somebody who is going through a divorce, treat that advice that you're giving them as if you would give somebody who is grieving the loss of a loved one, because that's what they're doing. They're grieving the loss of a loved one, and they're grieving the loss of family members. And if there's children involved, those children still interact with those family members, and you need to be a bigger person for that reason, as well as being a bigger person for yourself. Get rid of the anger, learn how to forgive. I understand the pain. Trust me, I've been there more than I wanted to talk about. But we have to know that the sun comes up the next day. We got to keep moving, and we have to want, and we will have to want to be better. So don't give anybody any advice to be mean, or to be vindictive to anybody else.
I hear that. And as we end all our podcasts, trying to do something will keep you in your same place. But when you actually do something, your place has no limitations. I am your host, Delay Bloomer. That is my co-host, Harlan Brown, and we'll see you next week.